Yes. Test.
And then-
Test.
No.
Oh, that's weird. That was me.
Where do you want it?
Here, talk into it while you're turning.
Talking. Test.
Down a little bit, down a little bit,
Test.
down a little bit. There.
Test.
That
There we
should be
go.
good. Welcome to another episode of the American Beer Review Podcast.
Good times with good friends requires good beer. Lucky for us, we know how to pick all three.
We're a group of friends who grew up in the Pacific Northwest, giving us a jump start on our craft beer journey.
Join us today while Brian... I pride myself on not getting to know other people, so do not put that on me.
Alec.
So the bananas up until like the 60s were an entirely different species of banana?
And Chad. It hit me like a wrecking ball.
Review some beer, talk about beer topics, and whatever else comes up. We invite you to pour yourself a drink and hang out with us.
All right. Time to start a pod.
Yeah, so what are we drinking?
So this is our
This is our metal
episode. So prompted by our main review beer that we'll get to in a minute. But starter beer kind of along with it, and I was grabbing the primary review. So this is, oh man, did you pull up the?
I am now.
Okay.
I hadn't yet.
Unibrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a Tout Le Monde, I think.
Let me see the. Yeah, I mean that sounds about right.
It's not a Tout Le Monde.
No, it
so
definitely
is.
is.
So this is Megadeth.
Oh, that's. I would not have guessed this style. I mean,
Belgian style saison ale.
yeah. So I mean, because
That's what I was gonna.
it's a light colored, but I didn't know what it was.
Say after the first sip, it was saison.
Oh, that's kind of a cool logo though on it.
Pretty cool. Megadeth guy.
Yeah.
4.5% ABV. So ale brewed with spices and then bottle fermented.
Ooh, that's interesting.
So Unibrow's out of Quebec, Canada.
Yeah, well, I think they were the ones that did the Trader Joe's.
I think you might be right.
Beer.
I'm wondering. Here, I can go back to their brewery and see. Oh no, I don't.
It won't be listed.
Because I was gonna say I'm wondering if they do have it or not. And so I only saw the side of the bottle. No, it's fine. I saw the side of the bottle and it made me wonder because I've had Unibrow makes a Belgian triple or tripel
Yeah.
called Le Fin du Monde.
Okay.
And that's I think that translates to the end of the world. Yep, the end of the world.
That's pretty metal.
Yeah, so they've been making that one for like almost 30 years, and it's pretty well known. But it's a Belgian triple for like 9%. So, I mean, they're a pretty well known brewery.
Yep.
For even being Canadian, and that I think mainly because of Le Fin du Monde, but like also other. I was trying to read the story about this, and it is all in French.
Oh.
On here, and I'm like, oh well, that's
And that makes, I guess, a lot more sense on why it's a Tout Le Monde.
yeah, it's the stuff they do. Yeah, so brewed in honor of the friendship and mutual passions of Megadeth's Dave Mustaine and Unibrow's brewmaster Jerry Vetz. So, most popular hard rock song to feature a chorus sung entirely in French. I don't know enough about Megadeth to know that piece of information, but
I have no idea.
yeah.
I know he was kicked out of Metallica like immediately before they went huge.
Oh, really? I vaguely remember that. Like, I just never was that into that though, like that style at the time. Like, I think in high school, like we would listen to Metallica when it's on. Like, we listened to the rock radio station, but like, I was never into a ton of those styles of music at the time. I'm not getting a lot of aroma off this, and I don't know if it's just me being kind
I
of
was
crummy
making
at
sure I
it.
wasn't having a stroke because I'm going to echo that. I'm not getting a whole lot of aroma that we've gotten on our some past saisons, but maybe that's part of something imparted by the bottle fermentation or something.
Yeah, I don't know. You still should have.
What if it dry hopped? I mean, you'd think you'd get a little kick of something
Yeah.
extra there too.
and we'll take a beat here because the Amazon truck just pulled up.
You said they had a song that was in French?
The chorus, yeah.
Yeah, because I was almost sure, but double checking. So Dave Mustaine's from California.
Huh.
So he's, I mean,
Well, I mean,
do
it's
research on his parents and figure out if he's
inspired by the most popular hard rock song to feature a chorus sung entirely in French. Well, that doesn't say it's their song.
I guess. It'd
Yeah.
be weird to not.
Yeah. So
Also, how many hard rock songs are in French?
one's
not-
from
France?
or Quebec, Canada.
It's not a language that lends itself to.
You wouldn't think so. Let's see what happens if I search the name of that. Are we still waiting on the Amazon guy, or are we good to
No,
move
I think
on?
I think we're good now.
Okay.
Continue.
We'll cut around that. Or
Yeah. No, you won't. Yeah.
No, probably not.
It's a song by Dave Mustaine, a Tout Le Monde. Like, that's the name of the song.
So, okay, so he just did a Swiss. What's a two? So, a Fin Le Mans is. what,
Yeah,
the
I'm
end of the
looking.
world
I'm
and
looking.
the Earth. Beginning of the Earth.
Well, and by the chorus, it's like 4 lines of French. Okay, now I gotta go to the translate.
Anyways,
So the beer.
this would be a camper beer for me, special occasion.
Saison's a good spring-ish beer. I mean, that's traditionally when it was brewed for harvest season.
All right, are you ready?
Okay, go ahead.
The chorus, translated from French. To everybody, all my friends, I love you, I have to go.
That's either like the most or least metal
Right.
line.
Ooh.
Picked up a buzz there.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you just... Nope.
Aha,
There
there
we
we go.
All right, so... A tout le monde. To everybody. That's what that translates to.
To everybody?
Oh, so that's a nice little toast.
Yeah. Well, and they did talk about it a little bit more of like in the description on Untapped that it said dedicated to all the friends of heavy metal music and Belgian style ales in Quebec and throughout the world. It's got a really like I'm getting more like a sour, not like a traditional Belgian style. Like it
Well,
doesn't
this-
feel as
This,
saison-y, I guess. Like, and that's even like in particular, not getting that aroma as well too. So it kind of makes me
Isn't
wonder.
there usually a little funk too on a farmhouse style?
Saison.
Yeah.
Usually a little
Yeah, this is very clean and cidery,
It does
which I'm not mad about.
it makes me wonder about with it being dry hopped, how much of that changes things. Because I mean, people do dry hop saisons, but this just seems.
Well, and I don't know how long this has been sitting there. I didn't see a brewed
It
on
says
date.
bottled. I mean, in a glass bottle with the cap, and it was sealed, so it's got the foil over
yeah.
it, so it's going to help a little longer. It's showing, I mean, through March of next year. So
All right.
yeah, it's a wonder of like what they determine the like length of it being okay for is.
Right.
I did see, I saw a meme somewhere online the other day that was like reasons why breweries don't put brew by dates. And one of them was like hoping that random bros just still buy the dusty bottles.
Yeah.
And then it basically was like the main reason is we don't want to pull all the stuff off the shelves and then hope that like randos will just buy it.
Yeah. So
Like-
Yeah.
I have a new coworker who was in the beer industry previous to this
Oh.
for like 20 plus years.
Oh, geez.
And so he was saying back in the earlier days of him with them, they just got to take all of the outdated beer home. So
Hell
they rotated
yeah.
it at the store,
Yeah.
bring it back to the warehouse, and then it was basically like a pile of beer where just take as much as you want. I can never drink an outdated beer again in my life.
Because you just did it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some that like,
Because they don't go bad. It's not gonna get you, for most of them, they're not gonna get
Yeah.
you sick. It's just
yeah,
a quality.
yeah, that like the flavor,
Degradation.
and that's the thing that I've done before too, where like kind of not knowingly, I've grabbed one like from Total Wine. I mean, let's face it, they're the worst. Like they're just gonna leave stuff sitting on those shelves for however long.
And there's another sponsor that we can just throw out the window.
Or big
I haven't heard-
store boxes. But like
To be fair, I haven't heard them
to be fair.
doing advertising on podcasts yet.
Yeah. But those ones like
But we'd be happy to give them suggestions on how to sell more beer.
but they're not going to worry about it because their model is we're just going to carry it all and we're going to store it. What they do eventually is they'll just drop the price on stuff to try to push it and move it. But I've bought stuff before and I'm like, man, this one tastes kind of funky. Like, what's up with that?
Is it the beer? Or
and then you find the date and you're like, oh, this one like probably should have been pulled like 6 months ago.
Well, and it's also not ideal storage conditions.
And that
with
too. That's the other
lights
thing.
And
it just
fluctuations.
sitting
It's
in
just
the
room temperature.
Yeah.
How many end caps is it moved around, picked up and jiggled around, put in the bag, put back out front as they rotate seasonality?
I did one time. I don't think it was from there. I think it was from like a regular grocery store. I got a beer one time and it was like bad. Like it had turned like it was like the color had changed and it came
really?
out of a can and did something. And it actually I don't know if I want to say what brewery it is, but they actually had like, tell us how your beer was on their can. I was like, funny story.
Not very good.
Yeah. And they were like, they responded and were like, oh, sorry about that. Like I'm like, it's not a big deal. Like it is what it is. It's,
You did ask.
yeah. But like, I was just saying like, cause there's a way to like code it like on there. So I was like, you just may want to like see if you still have these out and about and quality check some of them. Cause I can't remember if I only had like one of it. So it's not like I had like a 6-pack to check it all against.
Right.
So.
But that's also impossible.
Oh, probably.
Unless
Yeah.
it's still like in their distribution system. Once that hits stores, like they lose control over it.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, they could put a recall, but if it just tasted bad,
Yeah.
they're not going to go through that.
This is just fine. I'm not overly impressed with it, unfortunately. Like,
No, I grabbed it because it paired with the other beer.
yeah,
I usually like a saison. It's a little bit chilly
yeah.
today for it. It's fine. I would not fridge it. Probably.
No, I'd probably pass on it. I mean, I'm not super into Megadeth or those things. So, yeah, it's all right. Nothing special.
But sometimes that's all what beer is.
All right.
Yeah, speaking of all right beer.
There you go. We have news today, right?
Doing some news
I think we do.
as we all scramble for.
Oh,
our
maybe it was
links.
news later. Maybe we're supposed to just filler this one with.
Oh yeah, what was if only somebody like. I mean,
Oh,
I know
let's see.
someone wrote out the plan, but I didn't.
I literally wrote no plan. I just wrote a title for the podcast.
You got this one. So Jack Daniels lawsuit followed. We talked
yeah,
about
yeah,
it
yeah.
months
Yeah.
ago. At this point,
Real quick before we get to that, speaking of like, is there a plan for this episode? There was one that something happened, and you were like, "Well, I'll leave it in at the end unless Brian like listens to it and wants to change it." And it was like a week and a half later that I finally saw that message, and I was like, "Well,
guess it's in.
it's in," because I did not check it. I did not.
Can't get mad at me. I sent the text.
Yeah, I've fallen back. You messaged, but yeah,
I sent it it's on the Discord.
yeah. Yeah, so going back to the Jack Daniels, so to recap, the Jack Daniels sued a dog toy maker for like copyright infringement because they made
Trademark infringement.
because they made a dog toy that like was it was like Cocker Spaniel like
Number 2.
Stinky number 2 or something like that
on your Tennessee carpet, basically parroting a
Yeah.
Jack Daniels bottle.
I was kind of surprised to find out that the Supreme Court went with Jack Daniels on this.
Did it go all the way up there?
Yeah.
Well, it did, but all it did was now it gets kicked back to the lower courts.
It
for
was
them.
like it didn't say like a solution or a resolution to it, but it was like, yes, you can sue on this or you can go after them because that was like the original thing
contention.
that like the dog toy company was like, hey, this is parody, so you can't, it's already protected.
Right.
And Jack Daniels was it went to the Supreme Court to try and say, yes, we can. So now it'll probably just be them
because
settling out of court.
But I feel warm and fuzzy about essentially the Supreme Court said that people aren't going to confuse Dog Squeaky Toy for Jack
Bottle of
Daniel's
booze.
Tennessee whiskey,
Yeah, but
so that's why they kicked it back to lower court. Now the lower court is going to go, okay, are we going to allow it to continue now that it's not
Protected.
well,
it's sort of protected, but it's not like you can still challenge it.
Interesting, because all Jack Daniels would have to do is do a limited edition dog squeaky toy.
Oh.
And this all
And then
goes
they
away.
No, because then they can prove damages.
Oh,
People are buying your product thinking it's our product, and now you can
Yeah.
prove damages against your trademark versus a parody.
I do like the absurdity also, though, is just like this is the title of the article that I put in there. Supreme Court sides with Jack Daniels in poop themed dog toy trademark fight. And you're just like, what? How did we get here?
Right.
How did this?
We don't have anything more important for you guys to
Yeah.
wage us, or maybe that was a Friday, easy day.
that feel it. Like when I did the jury duty, there were like 4 days where it was this, okay, there's this one trial, but then on like, I think it was Fridays.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, we're doing 12 of these bitches today.
Yeah.
We're getting rid through all the bullshit on Friday. That felt like a Friday.
Speeding tickets.
Yeah.
That was a Friday 4:45 p.m.
So the
decision.
Supreme Court, what it says is it rules that a lower court erred when it said the toy was covered by the First Amendment's free speech protections. So
Okay,
that's how
that's-
it got up to the Supreme Court. And so now it's going
Now
so,
it can be
so,
kicked back down
yes,
to lower
so
court.
it wasn't necessarily about is it parody, is it protected or not, but it was that, hey, they claimed that it was protected. We think it shouldn't be. And this is the other thing. It was a unanimous decision by the Supreme Court.
That never happens.
No, it's
That sounds like it's guys, this isn't our problem.
right.
Somebody else figured this
That,
out.
that I want to.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting one to go get the whatever their written
Transcript?
judge.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever they wrote as
The
you know,
decision.
Yeah. That's
the
what,
opinion.
decision. Yeah, opinion of the court.
Well, I guess, you don't have a counter opinion, but yeah.
No, there wouldn't be in this one, but that would have been a fun to like the one person who was like arguing against it.
Who writes the decision on that? It's just that
It has to be the newest judge.
No, it
it
wasn't.
wasn't it?
No, it's
Roberts is writing a.
no, it was Elena Kagan. So she's been, I mean, like
Yeah.
10
Okay.
years
Yeah.
close now. So yeah, it's definitely not the lowest. So I do wonder if it was like, if it was just like she's like, ah, dang it, it's
Drawing
my
straws.
turn.
Yeah.
Like
It's their version of you're buying the beers tonight.
yeah, but you can still go and buy a Bad Spaniel silly squeaker toy if you want to get that before they.
Load up on them now, and then you can
Yeah.
unload them on the black market
Yeah.
once they skyrocket in value after they get shut down.
Yeah, I imagine. I'm imagining how much more wheels this whole thing has. Is it going to be another 6 months down the road that we're going to
Yeah.
know their judgment finally?
They really like were specific. Like it is not like an overarching win
No, it was,
by Jack Daniels. It was very like we're kind of letting this one little thing. They were trying to get
They were trying to get a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, no.
they don't
This
want to
is
set precedents
No.
based on a poop themed dog.
because probably as soon if they did do that,
Yeah.
all the court would be bogged down with people.
I'm going
Courts.
poop thing dog
Yeah.
toy versus JD.
Yeah.
As my
It's kind of funny that that's part of their thing. They're like, oh God, this can be so much bullshit for younger judges and whatnot. All the silly things that they've had to write opinions on.
Yeah, or the fact that now there's like Supreme Court precedent, and people will be studying the poop themed dog toy court
Right.
case in future
That's going to be put
like
into
law school.
That's going to be put into a law school curriculum, and
I love it. I hope they do.
a lot of curriculums are being written right now about American history.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
There was
And then
other court cases, I guess, or legislation. Is the next thing. So moving on from that is there, at least in the state of Washington, I think that's the only thing that it was stated for. I'd have to reread the article, but it's about.
This is about allowing beer to be shipped in the
Mhm.
United States Postal Service.
Is it
period.
countrywide? Okay, I thought it was.
They
just,
they cannot ship if I remember reading it correctly, they cannot ship beer right now through the Postal Service, but this legislation would allow them to. But then,
you're right, it is.
But then it'd be thrown to the states. Can you ship beer out of state? Can you bring beer from in-state?
Which, real quickly on a side note, kind of ties into actually, I can't remember if we talked about this before, but there was a court case in Oregon.
Okay.
Oregon has a law that so in Washington, breweries under a certain size can self-distribute.
Okay.
So you don't have to go through the 3-tier system. So you can kind of self-distribute to places. In Oregon, you have to go through a distributor. So particularly breweries that were on the Washington-Oregon coast are like, we're not going to get a distributor just to go to Oregon when we can self-distribute everywhere else. So they sued in Oregon for the right to be able to do it and actually won.
Okay.
So now it's like, I think it has to be within those like certain states. It's not like someone from New York can come over and do it. There were some rules about it, but now Washington breweries that fit under that can now self-distribute in Oregon. So instead of Oregon having basically like more of a lock on, they can start to do that without having to do it. So this is kind of on the back of like kind of
It's all kind of coming to a head now because you've got all these little guys, and now that the macros are getting under a little pressure of not being able to sell enough beer, they're part of this article. They're going to start switching back into 6-packs to get that minimum buy dollar amount smaller.
Patent for inflation, the smaller.
But then that's going to push out. Are you going to buy the macro 6-pack at $7.99 or our macro 6-pack at 12 to 16?
Well, and this,
But then if you are that micro guy and you're losing a little bit of that shelf space, all of a sudden, if I can fill up a USPS flat rate box with beer and ship it out into the world, easy peasy, done.
Yeah,
that's huge for them.
Could be it's a different customer because Tavor's than what UPS, FedEx.
They use GLS.
I have no idea.
Basically UPS.
I mean,
yeah.
Because you're able to ship craft beer currently. I just don't know if it's a similar market.
Depends on the state. For example, I was researching how to get beer from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I have no idea why.
They cannot ship out of state.
Oh, really?
Self ship out of state. So it's all you can order it online, but you got to come pick it up. But we'll sell you merch. Oklahoma, and I've read some of the articles and opinions the brewers down their road, and Oklahoma's pretty tight on getting beer in and out.
It's just a bunch of old legacy laws.
Yes,
I'm assuming that don't really make sense in the current economic environment, but kind of holdovers that nobody's bothered to go back through and clean up.
So 2 things. One, I saw I think Norway was posting about people like, hey, if you don't live in upstate New York, you can still have our wonderful product of shipping it. Number 2, I can't figure out if this is actually it's been introduced, this legislation. It's called the USPS Shipping Equity Act. And it's been introduced a few years in a row. And so the article that we originally saw was in end of May, saying that it's been introduced actually by a representative from Washington and another from out of state. But I can't find the actual bill number to try and check on it, because when I Googled it, it took me to the one from years ago that died. So
I am guessing right now, with all the shenanigans going over there right now, I doubt that's going to get put in committee for a while.
Yeah,
to even be
the most recent thing.
But it's good that it's being introduced. I figured it was going to be a year or two for it to get even a vote.
I mean, it's been
brought to the floor.
It's been introduced in the past. But that's the thing, is all the articles I'm seeing is this reintroduction of it, but there's no further saying anything.
They probably just introduce it and see if you can get some mojo behind it, get a little bit of momentum from people excited about it. Then it can get, then you can go to your senator or your House buddies and go, hey, here's all the pressure behind this legislation. Can I get you guys on board with me?
Well, it is a good Friday bill
Yes.
to pass. Hey guys,
Guys, can we vote on something this
Can we
month?
vote on something
Can we let people mail beer to each other?
right?
Okay, good, done.
Most of the things I'm seeing have been in favor of it. It seems like the American beverage licensees is not in favor of it.
So it's
The people who have
not
a-
distributors.
Mhm.
It's the contract brewers across the country that brew. My guess would be I don't know.
They're claiming it would endanger the constitutional authority that provides states with regulatory oversight. So they're claiming
States' right.
a states' rights
Yeah.
thing. But
But that is a sticky wicket. It's like because a lot of some states
So
they're
we
like
pay attention to states' rights a whole lot right now.
yeah. Yeah, so I don't know what they're doing. Yeah, it's like I hate when I am too dumb to figure out how to move forward with something like where it is. I can only find it from old Congresses, not the newest one. So
well,
to be determined of the actual details, but it is, at least it's been introduced. It's attempted. So I mean, it's hopeful. I don't. You order through Tavor, so you get mail stuff. I still don't know that it's something I'm gonna do a lot. Like in the grand scheme of things, like I've looked online. So like Iron Horse or No Lie are like, hey, we'll ship you this beer, and I look at it and I'm like, I gotta pay $120 for like a flat of it.
You got to
And
plan
then
ahead.
yeah, and so I'm just like,
but so the big thing for me, if this legislation does get through someday, USPS, USPS,
We'll ship it at a loss versus
they'll come up with a new flat rate box that'll fit a 6-pack.
well, and they're also talking though, like it is a positive for USPS because
business.
it's something they're losing on to a UPS or a FedEx or whoever's able to do it,
right.
DGL or whatever.
Sure,
Because
it's not DHL.
I know, isn't it DHL?
No, it's GLS,
GLS. That makes sense. I was like,
Global Logistics something.
so, but yeah, it would give them another funding source of people sending stuff. I just personally like, I appreciate when we go through Tavor to get the fun stuff from around the country.
Yeah.
I could probably spend some time in bottle shops and get a decent amount of stuff from around the country
Yeah.
that I just don't know that I'm gonna. It's not gonna increase my
It works
shipping
very
of
well
stuff.
in this situation
Yeah.
where we're planning a month, 2 months out. And
Yeah.
we can look for beers and theme packages and stuff
Well,
like that. And
Except for when it shows up a month later,
well, there is that.
month and a half late.
We'll just sit on it for another
Well,
12 months.
it showed back up on Tavor
Oh, so it
after
wasn't.
it, so I was like,
Oh,
it wasn't
it's not
that
like
it was
you
late.
ordered
It was like, oh, well, I ordered it. 'Cause
I gotcha.
Yeah, because when I ordered this spicy pickle beer,
God,
How was that?
It's
Are we
good.
saving that for a review?
we'll probably review it
Oh,
after this episode.
God, I hate
I'm
this
interested
idea.
in
I'm
that.
It's that. Remember the pepper belly?
It's not
Oh.
that spicy, is it?
It's that light. It
Huh.
not very a subtle version of
With
it.
some pickly?
Little pickle.
I'm not happy about this.
It's pickle, hot sauce, and habanero.
I saw the post that you made of it, and
Did not approve.
it took everything in my being not to like comment from my own personal account to be like, oh hell no, like.
The content would have been great.
Well, we'll still see. Do I get a clean glass?
Glasses.
I feel like every time I lean forward to like give you a glass, I'm like probably shouting in someone's ear. Like I don't.
No, you're good. No, if you hear me scream in pain and fall off the chair, then you know you killed me with your screeching.
It's either that or Odin got after your foot.
No, he's asleep.
Yeah, he's out.
There you go.
Thank you.
Don't say any of the magic words.
Yeah.
Chad, what are the magic words?
All right. So this is main review. Beard, you got this one pulled up?
No, I'm
All right,
slow. Slow today.
So this is the entire theme for the episode. So this is Trooper, a premium British beer created by Iron Maiden in partnership with, it says Robinson's, but I guess it's Robinson's. I don't know. Ryan'll
I'm looking. I'm getting there.
pull it up. It is a premium British beer from Cheshire, England. 4.7, so another light one for today, but charged with flavor. It's got something.
Have you
on
even
it.
said what this is yet? the name of it?
Trooper,
Yeah.
created by Iron Maiden.
From Robinson's Brewery.
There you go. Yep, I read through that. On the side of the can, again, so I don't pour all of this on the floor.
Trooper takes its name from the Iron Maiden song, which is inspired by the famous Charge of the Light Brigade.
Yep.
Being a real ale enthusiast, vocalist Bruce Dickinson has developed a beer which has true depth of character.
Launched in 2013.
Yeah, it's been around for a while. I mean,
How did I miss this?
yeah.
Because it's really I've only ever seen it like in like a gift box.
Yeah.
I think when it first came out, it was like a gift set, like
Maybe.
kind of around Christmas time. But it's like
These were singles this time.
yeah, I think that was recent. But like the first few times, it was like, oh, you want the $50 Christmas gift
Yeah.
pack? It's like
It's usually
for
in a
2
bottle,
beers?
too.
yeah. It was like you get one of those big old like kind of the
Yeah.
Magnum bottles of it. It's like,
I don't need that much.
I don't
for
wanna
$50.
yeah.
Oh, here's a can one. When's this one?
but now it's in a can.
Oh,
a
it's
little
been
more-
in a can for that.
The whole
I'm
time, I
wrong.
think,
Yeah, back
but-
in 2016, someone
Yeah.
has a can. So
Malt flavors and citric notes from a unique blend of Bobek, Goldings, and Cascade hops dominate this cheap.
a little lighter in color than I kind of expected. For some reason, I still think like a. I'm just gonna talk over you because I'm a jerk
fine.
like that. I still think of like an ESB style as like a little darker. It's like kind of.
Is that what it's
It's
classified
a bitter best is what they have put it in. So sometimes marketed as an amber ale in the UK,
I was gonna say this. I was thinking amber.
but it still is a lot lighter than amber to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little more like orangey golden.
I'd almost call that in cream ale territory, kind of an American cream ale.
A little bit.
Yeah,
It's not bad.
they're talking about bitterness being from medium to strong. I'm not getting.
I'm not getting much bitter. A little bit in a
A little-
bigger swig, but
A little at the end, but it's more of a tangy bitter, not a bitter.
Yeah, it's so typically earthy, spicy, or peppery, but not normally heavily citrusy. Well, it's definitely not citrusy and malty. I mean, it is malty, but it's just.
yeah, I don't get the lemon or hint of lemon.
Did it say that
I
somewhere?
get-
On the can, it
Oh,
says-
geez.
I gave mine a little swirl. I got a little bit of lemon after a swirl. That like the little
Oh,
foam.
interesting. Another beer that I've talked about it before on the podcast, was one from Structures that they kind of categorized as like a table beer. And it was a bitter, categorized as the same thing as this at 3.8%.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's the only other one that I've had that kind of fits the style of this. And they called it basically like a sessional pale ale. So, kind of like a bitter. So, it's not like a standard. And I think maybe that's my problem. I was thinking it was like ESB type, but it's definitely not. It's just, I wonder how much of this like is a US versus UK type thing in the styling of a beer that like we'd go over there and be like, oh, yeah, that's. These 16 different breweries all have this type. And for us, we're like, oh, it doesn't fit our American, like,
Palate.
and what we think when we hear bitter, we think like a bitter beer, we think of like, not like a bitter IPA, but like a ESB.
Right.
And this doesn't fit ESB categories, but it's just kind of like, yeah, a light amber ale, I guess. With like not really bitterness though.
No, it's got a little bit of a kick at the end.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm
I get a little pepper. That's where I'm getting the pepper and lemon at the end,
Maybe that's where the lemon comes in.
especially off the very last dregs.
Interesting that two metal beers,
Yeah.
both kind of lighter drinking beers,
But-
and
in a way,
definitely lower ABV, 4.5, 4.7.
it makes sense for sure for the Trooper because I feel like it being a UK beer, that is more like
Their style or their
that you're not like over there pounding 8% beers and doing that type of stuff. That it is like
drinking them all day.
yeah. So I think it fits more in that idea when you think of it from that perspective. That's all the difference of us again, are American. Like if you're gonna make a Metallica beer, it's probably going to be big, bold everything compared to like, no, this is a British brewery, like beer we're just going to smash like all day
Right.
type of thing, instead of us trying to make it bold like the music. You know what I mean? Like they're changing that to just be like, no, this is just a style of beer that we want to drink.
Yeah, instead of something that
And not
the music.
It isn't. Yeah, it is not themed to the music. It's just design, the
But-
can design or name.
Like we mentioned, even though I'm not a big live music guy, I assume if you go to a metal concert, there's probably gonna be a lot of macro sold.
Oh, probably.
Yes.
So on aggregate, the average metal fan who has to go to a concert is probably drinking macro, probably likes macro. If your favorite band was going to do a beer, I doubt, and the band wanted to make sure it appealed to everybody, you'd want kind of a basic, not in flavor, but like a entry level beer. You wouldn't be
making something super sophisticated.
Yeah, if you were like a hipster band from the mid 2000s, like the Killers or something, that you do well. No, because they're not.
Aren't they British too?
No, they're. I believe they're Mormon, so they can't have beer.
Are they really?
I think so.
Huh.
Sponsored by Athletic Brewing.
There we go. No, but if you were like that band, that kind of vein of band, their special beer would be like a double hazy IPA farted on by a French bulldog or something really weird and out there.
I feel a little attacked here.
Yeah, this is directly
but if you were a big, like if Metalocalypse was real, they would probably have.
So
yeah, but it was one dude.
He had a band.
He had a band,
Death Clock went on tour, but it was, similar like the Gorillas when they were out, where you're basically just watching a
screen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, he did. But now it's the future, and like he could be VR with himself, playing all the instruments.
Yeah, I wonder what he's up to now.
They're working on a new season.
It's been like 10 years since the last season.
But the Venture Brothers just got their movie. I think it was Movie or New Season or something like that.
The Killers are Mormon.
Yes. Somebody ruined me a couple months ago to go and read all the lyrics and listen to it with that in mind now.
They're the largest religious. It was Christian.
Yeah. They are a Christian rock band.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that. I kind of blew someone's mind the other day with a band that I just went and saw and was like, oh yeah, you know when they kind of stopped touring and did stuff for a while? Like, yeah, he went and left and was like the head worship pastor for this big mega church. And he was like, wait, what? And I was like, yeah, like now go listen to the music again, see what you kind of pull out of it. So that's one of those where you're like, man, I just want to listen to music and make my own interpretations of it.
I'd rather find out that they're secretly a Christian rock band instead of the opposite direction. And go, oh no, these guys are all giant piles of
trash
shit that I just cannot morally support or listen to anymore.
Yeah. Yes, I guess that's I'm really into MMA, and there's a joke with people that I talk with about MMA is like, don't ever get to know your favorite fighter.
No.
Like, don't follow them on social media. No. Don't like search up their name other than
throw away my War Machine T-shirt.
Oh God. Oh God. Did you really have one?
No.
I was like, number one, I have questions. Number two.
But even like Mayhem.
Oh yeah.
Love that guy.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
he kind of went off the deep end a little bit
anymore.
Yeah. Yep. I know. So. I mean, you do you. Talk about your stuff. I'm not going to say stick to sports, but also I just might ignore you at certain times.
Yeah. All right, fridge in this one.
I'd buy it at the concert.
Okay.
If they sold it at a like if I'm going to the show and they have these, yes.
I would hope they have it. I mean,
that'd be kind of dope to just like you travel with your own beer.
He flies himself.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I know, but still, like
they have a 727?
747.
747.
Full on 747.
Bruce Dickinson flies the band and everything in his Iron Maiden plane.
Who else has it in their rider? Like, no, at the stadium, you will also sell our beer. Like,
I'm sure there's a lot of. Well, that's a big topic for a lot of artists today on what kind of beer they can sell at their thing. But
I don't know that I saw it last time. So this is 2013. I've seen them twice since then. I don't remember seeing it.
Right.
But I wasn't particularly looking for it.
That's also like, if you think about them touring and taking it to every place, enough to like make it kind of worthwhile. That poor brewery is like, hey, this is great. We can't make this much of it. Like,
Well, I don't know how big Robinson's Brewery is. I mean, is that a major brewery in England?
I'd never heard of it, but I also can't say that I'm like a
English beer.
I literally had never. I got a new badge on Untapped for checking this one in, and as it's a new brewery. Like it was added to my like, hey, you've now had beer from 475 different breweries.
Got to get those numbers up.
Yeah,
Get the big old 500.
getting close.
Maybe by the end of the day.
Manchester, England.
But I mean, they
230 different beers.
yeah, they have tour dates long. They do a world tour. They plan it for a few years, so they could stock up some beer.
Ooh, there are other troopers.
Yes.
Oh, they have different iterations.
There
of it?
is a Trooper Fear of the Dark, an English stout.
Nice.
Okay. Then regular Trooper, maybe Trooper Sun and Steel, a Koji / Ginjo beer. So like maybe like a Japanese.
What did you say? Sun and Steel?
Yeah.
Let me look it up.
This is a double fermented Pilsner infused with authentic Japanese sake yeast.
Ooh, that sounds very interesting.
Sun and Steel is the 6th beer from the Iron Maiden vocalist Bruce Dickinson and Robinson's Brewery. So that's kind of cool. So they have at least 6 of these different things. Going back to the fridging, yeah, I would for sure, if I was at the concert, I would say that for almost anybody. If I'm at a concert and the band has their own beer, I'm going to buy at least one of them. I personally, nothing against them, but I'm not going to an Iron Maiden concert, so I'm also not buying it there. But
You gotta go to at least one.
The
Fear of the Dark live is one of the best live performances. And Iron Maiden, so if you've never seen them,
don't they have the big character, like the
spectacle
trooper
they
guy?
built.
their live shows head and shoulders above anybody else that I've ever seen. The theatrical, I don't know how they make any money.
Oh, yeah.
With the amount that they have going on and just the production. There's 3 guitarists in the band.
I've heard Avenged Sevenfold is that way for like just pyro. That they're
really?
like one of the most insane like pyro shows.
Huh.
Where have you seen them? Like where have you gone to see them?
White River Amphitheater.
That's what I figured.
And then Tacoma Dome the last 2 times.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to think about like where would be a good. I wondered about White River.
Well, and they're crazy. So huge following, right?
Yeah.
I do not know the last time I heard an Iron Maiden song on the radio.
Right?
Or if ever. Even listening to like classic rock stations.
Really?
Think about it.
I mean, I don't listen to it lately, but like I feel like when I used to listen to it, they would play it. Like, aren't they the run? They're the Run for the Hills.
Okay, you'd hear that one every once in a while, but not on like a KSW.
Not anymore. Oh, interesting. I mean, I just don't listen to it anymore. So, all right.
No,
yeah. So there's my answer.
I think it's been years.
Well, because their tour dates pop up like a surprise.
That's probably it. That's probably it. Once they say they're going to tour or whatnot.
I don't think I fridge this one either. I think this one as a Maiden fan, would grab more for the can art and put it on the shelf with.
I think they do like every once in a while like a special box set, and you get like a
2 or 3
post. It puts like a poster in it or something.
I think that's more where I would go, but this isn't a consistent fridger for me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm looking it up, and people are checking in this one, but it's got a different logo and like calling it a progressive lager on the front, being made by someone else. So that's interesting.
Maybe they've changed breweries or something over the years.
All right, yeah, it's
marketing.
Yeah. 15 million pints worldwide.
I don't know how many that is. It's a lot. It's a big number.
Over 10 years?
Not really.
It's bigger than the Tulsa.
A little bit.
It's not even the same. That's just not the same
not
measurement.
Over 10 years. 15 million pint, 1.5.
I mean,
million pints.
Can we also just talk about the fact that like the song "The Trooper" is inspired by the Charge of the Light Brigade? Like, I'm just so fascinated by like,
If you
hey, do you remember that war from back in 1854? I think we should make a metal song about it.
So you don't listen to much Iron Maiden.
Zero.
That's
all
of their stuff is based on.
They
primarily British
as the kids say today, they fuck with World War I heavy.
Oh, okay. See, now I'm more intrigued.
Yeah, no, listen to the lyrics.
I need to go back and check out some more Iron
Well,
Maiden.
it's one of the metal bands. That was the big one. So metal, huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
But number one metal band in the world, whatever, historically is.
Iron Maiden?
Nah, Metallica.
Oh, yeah.
But nobody tries to sound like Metallica. Metallica, you can understand the lyrics. It's got whatever. They didn't go Cookie Monster, any of that. But all of the metal bands, even like a Death Clock or kind of, I don't know if they go Avenged Sevenfold would be metal, but Blibberish.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Just angry into the microphone. Then you got Swedish death metal.
Yep.
Which is more of the same. They're just, you can't tell if they're speaking Swedish or English.
Right.
And they're singing about some Norse god battle.
Yeah.
That's happened.
But Maiden, very much especially with Bruce Dickinson, the vocals are almost more than
there's a lot of story.
Yeah. Yep.
I played kind of metal for my son the other day because I was going to a concert and I was like, hey, do you hear it? And he's like, why is he yelling? why is he?
Because it's metal. It's metal, son.
When I go, listen, you're one to talk. Number one.
Right. You've been yelling constantly.
Yeah.
Thor, did you finish this? Did I miss that?
He was the one who first said the concert.
Yeah.
I'd pick it up at a concert.
All right.
I mean, I poured a little more. It's fine.
It's a good beer, but it's just not a style I'm going to sit and
I
sip.
think that's more. Both of these, they're just not styles that I'm really trending towards.
If I'm getting a flight, it's a weird, different one. I'd throw one on because it'd be like, oh, a bitter. I'll try it. Yeah. But that's it.
Like I said, I'm putting the can on my shelf and rocking it from there. All right. Well, our glasses are empty. Hopefully yours are too. And we'll catch you next time.
And you think it's going to make some noise?
With some paraphernalia.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. That new filter for my...
Dog pool?
No. Already got one of those. No, a new filter for my air freshener. So the place doesn't smell like wet dog.
Constantly?
Mm-hmm.
If you enjoyed what you just heard, like and subscribe, follow on social media at ABR Review, and tell a friend. Send us any suggestions for beers to review, and we'll do our best to track them down and give them a taste.